You are Locked On Giants Postcast, part of Locked On Sports San Francisco on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Giants Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR, and today, Kyle Harrison started off well, but unraveled quickly, and the Giants just couldn't recover as they fall 5-3 to the Milwaukee Brewers. Harrison was rolling until he had 2 outs in the 5th inning, and within just a few pitches, in the blink of an eye, the game went from a 0-0 tie to a 5-0 Brewers lead. The offense was quiet in this one until it was too late, and again, the Giants can't generate any real damage against the opposing starting pitcher. By the time they got to the bullpen, it was just too late. We'll break it all down, but first I want to thank you all for watching us on the Locked On Sports San Francisco YouTube channel. Please, if you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. Make sure to check out the Locked On Giants Daily Show for more in-depth coverage as well. And thanks for listening on the Locked On Giants podcast feed. Make sure you're tuning in to Ben Caswick's Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. He does a great job. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. Download Game Time today. The leadoff walk in the top of the first for the Giants got things going, but in typical Giants fashion, a strikeout and then a double play to end the inning. And this is just what the Giants have been doing, failing to get these leadoff runners home. I mean, they've been in the top 10 like all season in batting average in the leadoff spot of not just like the leadoff spot of the order, but leading off in innings. And the Giants frequently waste this base runner. Again, they do it here. And we talk about the runners in scoring position stats a lot, but even if you just expand it to like guys left on base or like leadoff hits wasted, I mean, the Giants would probably be leading the league or close to it in that category. I mean, they're just terrible at getting these leadoff runners around the bases, especially in early innings. And again, here you go. It just feels so lackluster. I mean, it doesn't feel like they have a real chance to even score these runs. Like you're just kind of waiting for the strikeouts, the double plays. I mean, the failed at-bats, like non-productive outs. That's kind of what you're waiting for in these situations with the Giants, and they delivered you just that in the top of the first. But Harrison was rolling. I mean, first couple innings, he was cruising. He had a bunch of strikeouts. He racked up 7 of them in total today. He only walked 3 guys, and about 2 of those walks came in that 5th inning. It was not a good inning for Kyle Harrison. I mean, he started off with walked 1 and then ended up getting 2 outs, then walks another guy after he already gets two outs. Then a Churio grounder the opposite way, rolls into right field, scores the first run of the game there in the bottom of the 5th, gives the Brewers a 1-0 lead. And then Harrison completely unravels. He pipes a 92-mile-an-hour four-seamer, and again, 92 miles an hour. That velo is dipping as we get later in the season, and especially as he gets later in games. Recently, it's been concerning for me to watch Kyle Harrison. He's got to have some arm fatigue at this point. I mean, the Giants aren't going to come out and say that, but the guy is just, he looks like a young guy who's laboring through the end of a season that he hasn't. And he hasn't shown that he can pitch this many innings effectively yet in his career. Harrison, doing whatever he could do to try and get that final out, but couldn't get it done. That 92-mile-an-hour four-seamer was right down the middle, and Blake Perkins smashes it off the left field wall. And then it kicks between Conforto's legs, doesn't field it cleanly off the wall. Thought he might have had a chance to catch that ball. But again, line drives hit right at you. One of the toughest plays in all of baseball to make. In Conforto, he turned left, he turned right. He just looked all out of sorts on that one. And then it hits off the wall and goes literally right between his legs, allows both the runners on base to score, gives the Brewers a 3-0 lead. And then first pitch to the next batter, Wilson Contreras, hanging changeup, low in the zone, but just hung that thing way too much, and it was obliterated to center field. Contreras also lost his mind running the bases. A very emphatic celebration. I know this guy plays with a lot of passion and energy on a regular basis, but man, you're beating up on the Giants, a team that's limping to the finish. And I mean, it just didn't seem like it was that big of a moment for the Brewers. You're already winning 3-0, so it was a I mean, it was a charge that he put into it for sure. And it was a tough inning for the Giants, a great inning for the Brewers. I get why he was hyped, but man, dude was acting like he just hit a walk-off bomb. Kind of weird to me. I love the celebrations. I love the energy in baseball, the bat flips, all that's super fun. But the Brewers just love their home runs from the celebration with Bernie Brewer sliding down the slide and the light show and the bat flips. And we saw Adames have a bat flip for the ages yesterday as well. So the Brewers just love their home runs, man. And the ball just seems to fly out of that yard. I mean, that nice hot air gives you a lot of home runs, especially out to dead center field. It's been flying this whole series. And as I said, that home run came on a changeup, and Harrison has been throwing that pitch a lot more this season, over 20% of the time this year compared to just 11% of the time last year. But opponents are hitting about 275 off of it, or they were before coming into this one tonight. But in the last 5 starts, opponents were batting just 167, 4 for 24 over his last 5 starts. Well, Wilson Contreras can add to that number. That changeup was working for Harrison in the past, and today it betrayed him. 5-0 Brewers lead. It went from a 0-0 game to a 5-0 game in like 5 pitches or less. So this was a really tough end of the inning for Kyle Harrison. He's had a tough time getting the final outs of innings this season. We'll get into that a little bit later on and just why that is. But that 5-0 lead proved to be insurmountable for the Giants. I mean, in the top of the 6th, they added on some more base runners, but couldn't really do anything there either. I mean, the Giants just failing to score runs in this one. I mean, it's been frustrating to watch this team just flounder and limp its way to the finish. The one good thing I did pick out from that top of the 6th there is Fitz picked up a 2-out single for the Giants' second hit of the game at this point, just to give you an idea how putrid this offense was, especially against Freddie Peralta as well. He stayed in the game. That 2-out single for the Giants was just their second hit of the game, like I said, and it was a really nice piece of hitting. Fitzgerald had 2 strikes on him, and there was Peralta gave him a perfect 2-strike slider that was just paint on the bottom outside corner of the zone. And Fitzgerald went down, got it, just went with the pitch, just did what he could with it, showed some great bat control, and just slapped a grounder into right field. I mean, that second baseman plays very close to straight up over the middle of the second base bag when Fitzgerald's up there, a big-time pull hitter. We've talked about that plenty of times before, but Fitz has been showing recently that he can go the opposite way too, showing that he can learn and adapt. And that's great because we've seen that now from Fitzgerald and from Ramos, fixing his hole in his swing with the high fastballs. Ramos has been doing that great so far in these last few weeks. Yesterday, he had another extra base hit off of a high fastball. So if you're looking for positives, I know I am at this point in the season because there's not a whole lot of them. We're kind of looking towards next season and seeing if we can pick up on signs of these young players continuing to build towards the future. These 2 guys being able to fix these holes in their swings. I'm talking Tyler Fitzgerald being able to hit outside pitching, and I'm talking Elliot Ramos being able to hit high fastballs. Both of these guys showing great strides in both of these areas. This wasn't Fitz's only opposite field hit of this one. He had 2 hits tonight, and both of them were opposite field singles. He also fought off a inside cutter that he inside outed the other way, just over the second baseman's head, lifted it into right field. So Fitz doing a great job of adapting, learning, showing that bat control. And it's easy to overlook this type of growth. Don't get me wrong. We're sitting here talking about a couple slap singles from a guy who's, been one of the bright spots for the Giants, had that crazy home run streak. And we're talking singles, a couple of singles from this guy, but it's kind of a big deal, man. Like if this was a win and the Giants were like rolling, headed towards the playoffs, we would be talking about this as a very big deal and saying that this was a sign that these young guys can continue to push the Giants to new heights. But with the rest of the team around them playing how it's playing and the Giants just kind of skidding out towards the end of the season, it's easy to overlook this type of growth. It's just overall frustrating to watch this Giants team. And it's very easy to kind of skip past these smaller things. Although with where we're at in the season right now, I know that's not what you're looking for. I know that's not what you want in out of this team. Like you want this team to make the playoffs. You look at this pitching staff, you look at the free agents that they signed in the offseason, they should absolutely be right there, but they're just not. So we need to shift to focusing on what this team can build on for the future right now. it's Elliot Ramos, Tyler Fitzgerald, and the rest of the young guys, and they're showing some good signs. So I'm going to take that as a positive, despite the fact that the Giants are now 6.5 back in the National League wildcard standings, and that they lost 5-3 today to the Brewers. Again, coming into this series, I expected the Giants to lose this series. I mean, I don't see any way that they can go into Milwaukee and come out of there with winning 2 out of 3. I mean, they did a good job by winning that first game of the series yesterday, put themselves in a good position. But honestly, I expect them to drop the rubber match tomorrow. The Giants have been pretty good in rubber match games this year, but it's just, I don't know. This Brewers team just feels, so much better than the Giants. It seems like they got guys who can contribute to winning up and down this order, even if they aren't great batters. You got guys who can steal bases all over the place, play great defense, got a ton of really good pitchers, even though they just got rid of Corbin Burns, their ace, in the offseason. And it seems like they just restocked, reloaded. They know what they're doing with their pitching coaches and their pitching staff. Obviously, they keep generating random reclamation projects that turn into really good pitchers. Got a few of them on that roster this year. So the Brewers doing a great job in that 6th inning. By the way, Fitz didn't score after he picked up that 2-out single. Then we had a Giants debut in the bottom of the 6th. Austin Warren made his Giants debut, and he pitched pretty well today. Warren had about 2 solid innings. He pitched 2 innings, only give up 1 hit. Did give up a walk, no strikeouts, but no runs, got a double play. He seemed pretty solid up there, pretty comfortable. He was, this is a guy who could contribute to the Giants bullpen later on as well. This isn't just a this year kind of guy. He signed a major league contract on February 14th in 2024, was placed on the 60-day IL on February 18th. He's a lifetime. He's 6-0. With a 3.55 ERA and 31 strikeouts, a whip at about 1.24 in 32 career games, all with the Angels. So Warren looks like he could be a guy for this Giants bullpen in the future. He was a former 6th round draft pick by the Angels in 2018. He was teammates at University of North Carolina at Wilmington with Landon Roop. And as Dave Fleming pointed out on the broadcast, he won 3rd place in his state bowling championship when he was just in high school. So multifaceted Austin Warren. Don't let him know that they got those bowling alleys at Oracle Park in the Gotham Club. Otherwise, he might just be skipping out on days when he knows he's just sitting down there in the bullpen but not available. Maybe he just goes and bowls a few games. I've been to that place a few times, and during games it gets pretty quiet. There's not a lot of people in there. So if Austin Warren's looking for a place to duck out during Giants games, maybe, towards the end of the year when they're just, spinning out, just hurtling towards the off season of turmoil. Maybe he just ducks away into the Gotham Club, bowls a few games to pass the time. That would be pretty fun if you're a Giants fan going to the Gotham Club and you just happen upon Austin Warren sitting in there. I highly doubt that will happen, but it would be kind of cool. Then in the top of the 7th, Matt Chapman hit a leadoff double, just the 3rd hit of the day for the Giants, but they did a great job of actually scoring this run. Chapman's been doing also a great job lately of going the opposite way instead of always trying to pull home runs in every single at bat. Seemed for a while that Chapman was just trying to just knock him out of the park with every single swing. Has shown a lot more bat control lately. Seems to be a theme across the entire Giants order. 108 miles an hour off the bat. Yaz then moved him over to 3rd with a productive ground out. Wow, a great piece of situational hitting that the Giants have not shown that they can do this year at all. So great job there by Yaz. Tyro then reaches safely and run scores on a throwing error by Ortiz. Giants get on the board, but it's still a 5-1 Brewers lead. And then in typical Giants fashion, Grant McCray grounds into a double play to end the inning. Then in the top of the 8th, the Giants put together a little bit of a rally. This was the one bright spot for the offense in this one. Started with a Tyler Fitzgerald single over the head of the second baseman and into right field for a second hit of the night. That was the one that I was telling you about earlier, that inside out cutter that he didn't try to pull. Wouldn't have done a ton with it. If he did, would have just had a ton of topspin and just hit that thing right into the ground. So great job by Fitz, going the opposite way, doing what he can with the pitch and not trying to do too much. Shows a ton of bat control. We just said this, but that's the big takeaway for me from this, was the Giants showing bat control in this game. Conforto then one-hops one off the left field wall in a left-on-left situation. Bob Melvin doesn't pitch hit for him. And we've talked about this a few times on the show. And I, again, got to credit my guy Ryan, who he's not in the chat today, don't see him, but he's frequently one of our everydayers, and he talks a lot about Michael Conforto and how he's really good at these left-on-left situations. And the Giants often pinch hit for him in these moments. They leave him in here, and it pays off. Conforto has he's got like 24 doubles this season. He's been playing better ball as of late. Conforto also made a nice sliding grab in this one, or earlier in this game. There's a foul ball that was heading towards the stands, and Conforto racing in from left field slides as he collides with the tarp, slides feet first, feet hit the tarp, makes a nice backhanded catch as he's sliding in. And great play by a dude who's not got too many highlight reel defensive plays this year, but recently he's been adding a few to the list. So that double by Conforto cuts that Brewers lead to 5-2, and then comes Elliot Ramos, singles to score Conforto 5, cuts that Brewers lead to just 5-3, and the Giants, with Ramos on base, were one swing of the bat away from tying this one, but they couldn't get it done. That's all she wrote for the Giants offense. It was nice to see a little rally there, but again, too little, too late. You got to figure out a way to generate runs off of the starting pitcher and chase them from games, because the Giants do a great job of scoring runs against teams' bullpens late in games, but are just god-awful at capitalizing on situations early in games when you get your leadoff runner on and you immediately get like a pair of strikeouts or a double play or something. Like, this is just how the Giants have been all season long. The eighth inning was kind of tumultuous. Bivens came in, gave up a couple quick singles, taken out for Eric Miller, walked a guy to load the bases with one out, then gets back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning, and that was pretty much it. Yaz in the ninth gave one a ride to deep center, but it was caught, and there wasn't anyone on base anyway, so would have needed a little bit more than that. Would have been cool, though, if that one went out. Would have been Yaz's 100th home run of his career. Yaz sitting at 99 career home runs, so we're watching for that. He can become he and his grandfather Carl Yastrzemski can add themselves, if Yaz hits one more home run this season or just before the end of his career, they can add themselves to a pretty elite list of grandfather grandson pairs to both hit 100 plus home runs in their MLB careers. Kind of an interesting little note. And I mean, that's where we're at with this Giant season. So we're looking for interesting little notes and tidbits and growth for next year. And the rest of the season's kind of a wash, man. It's a bummer, but the Giants are just slowly dying. And I mean, we would be nice if we could just have like some expedited way to end this. Like, it almost bring me a little bit of comfort to know that the Giants were just out of the race mathematically, just so we could start just building towards next year and stop this illusion of like, let's press to make the playoffs this year. It's not going to happen. You're 6.5 games out. You have like a month left. You're about you need like a week's worth of wins. Like that's not going to happen. The Braves aren't going to have this like colossal downfall. The Mets aren't going to have a colossal downfall also. And they're now looking up at the Cubs as well. Like the Cardinals are 7.5 back. The Reds are 10 back. So you're probably going to, not be caught by those guys, but you got a lot of work to do. You got to leapfrog 3 teams in the last month of the season. And I don't see that happening. It's very unrealistic for this Giants team. The Giants would need to, damn near win out, and the Brewers would need to, or the Braves, would need to start losing a lot of games. And so would the Mets. So Giants fall 5-3 to the Brewers. And this is just kind of how this season has gone. They can't have nice things for too long. We were above 500 until today. Now, with the loss, the Giants roll back down to 67-67. The gravitational pull of 500 just has a death grip on the San Francisco Giants this year. We're going to take a quick break, but on the other side, I want to talk about why it is so hard for Kyle Harrison to get the third out in innings this year. We'll get into that a little bit more on the other side. Stick with us on the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Today's show is also sponsored by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks. With as little as 4 correct picks, you can turn $10 into $1,000. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks is the best way to win real money this football season. All you got to do is hit on which players are going off and which ones aren't. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on PrizePicks. And don't forget, preseason football is underway and regular season football will be here soon. So you can also play more or less on 2024 season-long stats on PrizePicks. Just download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. Today, the Giants fall 5-3 at American Family Field, which is just a terrible name for a baseball park when it was once named Miller Park. And you have a team name of the Brewers. I mean, they have all sorts of fun out there. The sausage races. I mean, Bernie Brewer's pretty fun, like going down the slide and stuff. It seems like they know how to have fun out there in Milwaukee. Seems like a lot of fans that are having a good time out there. And man, I wish we could get some of that life back at Oracle Park. Giants are out here just adding extra giveaway days. That Logan Webb t-shirt commercial. It's just like they're just grasping at straws, it feels like, to get fans to come out to the yard. And that's not where you want to be in September. You want to have the draw be the team, not the Logan Webb t-shirt giveaway or the Buster Posey Funko Pop. And don't judge me if I'm going to go to that game just to pick up that Buster Posey Funko Pop. Got to add to the collection, man. I've got just a ridiculous collection for a grown adult of Giants bobbleheads and such. But hey, it is what it is. I like me some Giants memorabilia. So today, the Giants 5-3 loss to the Brewers. And it really, all of these 5 runs for the Brewers came just like that in an instant. I mean, a flash in the pan of offense, and that was all that they needed for this game. It's really all that they were able to do was generate runs in that 5th inning, and it came on like 3 swings of the bat, all those runs. I mean, Harrison gave 2 free 90s, and without those 2 free 90s that scored in that inning, then this game would have been tied. So the walk's an issue for Harrison, and that kind of leads me into my next point, which is that Kyle Harrison has had a hell of a time getting that 3rd out this season. When you look at his splits, when he's got no outs, he's okay. When he's got 1 out, he's pretty solid, man. And when he's got 2 outs, he just unravels for some reason. He's given up 41 hits in 36 innings pitched. So that's more than 1 hit per inning pitched with these 2 outs. And he's also given up 8 home runs now with 2 outs. I mean, with 1 out and 2 outs, he's only given up 9 all season long. And with 2 outs, he's given up 8. So Harrison really struggles getting that 3rd out of the inning as far as his strikeout totals go. He's got less strikeouts with 2 outs than he's got with 1 or none. That whip is higher with 2 outs than it is with 1 or none. I mean, every single stat across the board, the walks higher than it is in the other 2 situations. So he just seems to kind of unravel at that point. And one thing that I noticed about Harrison today was that his delivery out of the windup was really deliberate. I caught some of this game on the radio on KMBR, and FP Santangelo, FP, great baseball analyst. I really like listening to him on the broadcast. He's a fun listen. I like FP a lot, and he's also a really good dude. If you haven't had the chance to meet FP, I can tell you personally from working with the guy, very, very sincere, nice, kind man. You don't get a lot of former athletes that just want to listen to the opinions of random peers. And he's one of those guys, just likes to talk shop with people. I love listening to FP and just talking baseball with him. But he was talking on the Giants broadcast today on KMBR about how Harrison's delivery was very deliberate, very in cadence, under control was the phrase he kept using, under control. And it seemed like when in earlier games this season, sometimes when he gets to these 2-out situations, he'll speed up that delivery out of the windup, and out of the stretch, he seems to be a different guy than out of the windup. And one thing Harrison's done a lot this year is issue a lot of walks. I mean, he's right in the middle of the pack. He's got a 7.7% walk rate. Today, he only walked 3. But again, when Harrison walks guys and he's got to go to the stretch, he becomes a different guy. And he's given a lot of free passes this year. Not as many as he did last year. That was a bigger issue. Last year seemed like it would be carrying into this year, but he's done a much better job at lowering that walk rate this year. But still, when he ends up putting runners on and having to come out of the stretch, it changes who he is as a pitcher. He gets roughed up a little bit more. That again, you saw that hanging changeup just get obliterated by Contreras today, and Harrison was really cruising. He did have base runners on in the earlier innings as well. He did give up 4 total hits in this one, although 3 of them came in that 5th inning. Before that 5th inning, Harrison had only given up 1 hit and 1 walk, and he had, I think, 5 strikeouts, maybe 6 strikeouts coming into that inning. So he was really rolling. I mean, Dave Fleming even said on the broadcast, this might have been the best first 4 innings of any Kyle Harrison start this season. I might refute that a little bit. That start in Denver where he struck out 11 was pretty damn solid by Harrison. But he did look utterly dominant. He was getting a lot of swings and misses today. It looked like he was just going to cruise. And then he started throwing a lot of pitches, walking guys, getting deeper counts, and it just all unraveled for Harrison there in that 5th inning with 2 outs, couldn't get it done. And Harrison's got to figure this out. He's got to figure out how to get that final out of the inning. And he's a young kid. A lot of this is probably mental. He's probably pressing out there, just trying to get out of the inning. He was up to 90 pitches. The last 2 pitches that he threw were that 2-run bomb and that 2-run double. So frustrating if you're Kyle Harrison, because for 90 pitches, you're fine. You only give up 1 run in 5 innings, more or less, of work. You got 7 Ks, you're rolling. And then those last 2 pitches just unravel all that work that spoil that whole day. And no one's really going to remember that Kyle Harrison had a nice start to this game. Everyone's going to remember how this one ended with Kyle Harrison getting knocked around, even though it was really only the last 5 pitches that didn't go so great for him. So Harrison, if he can control the walks, maybe he can, pitch some more of those, get some more of those 3rd outs of innings, pitch some of those 2-out at bats out of the windup instead of out of the stretch. And that might help him a lot. I think it would. Either way, he's got to get better at controlling his delivery out of the stretch and not letting it get, into his head, not getting so rattled by these situations. I mean, again, 23-year-old kid, he's got a long way to go in his career. I got a lot of faith in this guy. I think he'll be just fine. But the end of the season for Harrison he's kind of petered out a little bit. So it's the Giants, as I've said a few times on this show, limping to the finish. The Giants, they have a chance tomorrow to actually win this series, which would shock me. We'll see if they can do it. We got to take one more quick break here on the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. And today's show is sponsored by Liquid IV. When you're taking in America's pastime, don't forget to hydrate with Liquid IV's Popsicle Firecracker flavor, a surefire summer hit. Get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients from the #1 powdered hydration brand in America, because baseball in summer go together like liquid IV and indulgent hydration. I'm an active guy in the summertime. I'm always out going on hikes or making trips out to the beautiful California coast, going to Giants games, concerts. I'm always outside on the go all the time, and liquid IV keeps me hydrated through it all. Liquid IV is more than just a drink. It's a science-backed way to hydrate better. Tear, pour, and live more. One stick plus 16 ounces of water hydrates better than just water alone. Powered by LIV Hydroscience, trademarked, an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. So, no more thirsty summers when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code MLB at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. And today's show is also sponsored by Game Time. I love live events, from concerts to sporting events and everything in between, and I rely on Game Time to get my tickets. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff, so to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I also love the all-in pricing feature. Make sure you toggle this feature on to show the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. Game Time also gives customers the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. And with Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Receipt of copy does not constitute an order. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and today the Giants drop one to the Brewers 5-3, and they'll have a chance to win in the rubber match tomorrow. The Giants have been pretty good in rubber matches this season, although I don't expect them to win this one tomorrow. They're 10-5 in these types of games, but you look at what they do on the road, and I mean, on the road, this team is 29-39 after the loss today. Road series, they're 8-11-2, 2 splits. Otherwise, they're 8-11. So I really don't expect this team to win this road series. And it's a miracle that they didn't get swept, honestly, because this is a team that has been swept a lot on the road. You look at just the series wins and losses, like at home, they've won 13 and lost 6, split 2 on the road. They've lost 8, or they've won 8, lost 11 and split 2. So it looks like that they should have, like they got more winning series than losing series, but the Giants can't sweep anybody and they get swept a lot. So good for the Giants to avoid the sweep, but I don't expect them to actually win this one tomorrow. I'll be pretty surprised if they do. Let's see who's pitching. I forgot to check out who's pitching tomorrow. Give me 1 second. It is Hayden Birdsong goes tomorrow. So he's had a rough couple starts. Last time out, he was okay, but a little better than he had been in his prior one. So he's sitting at 3-3 with a 4.57 ERA. That's another guy that I'm looking for some signs that he's turning a corner going into next season. I'm looking for a good start from Hayden Birdsong in this Giants final matchup with Milwaukee on the road. I believe they have Milwaukee on the schedule one more time before the end of the season. I got to double check that, but all I know is this Giants schedule from now to the end of the season is a gauntlet. Almost every single team that they play is going to be over 500. The only one that isn't is the Mariners, which, by the way, if you want to go out and get a Buster Posey Funko Pop and see the Giants win a home game, most likely, you can go out to that Mariners series and check that one out. But the rest of these games for the Giants are going to be really tough. And I mean, it's not like you can just chalk up those Mariners games as automatic wins. They're still a professional baseball team, I guess, kind of, even though their payroll is like, $15 million for the entire Mariners team after the trade deadline this year. So at least we're not the Mariners, right? Or no, excuse me, the Marlins. I keep saying Mariners, I mean Marlins, my bad. The Mariners, I kind of, they're kind of just as mid as the Giants, but the Marlins, Marlins are pretty damn bad this year, and that's the one team that the Giants play the rest of the season that's under 500. It's their one chance at what I think would be a series sweep potentially at home. So we'll see if the Giants can indeed do that. But first, we'll see if they can get a win in Milwaukee tomorrow. It would be nice to escape from this series with the win. I want to see 5 innings minimum from Hayden Birdsong tomorrow, and like a 5-1 or like a 4-1 strikeout to walk ratio. That would be outstanding. That's what I'm hoping for from Hayden Birdsong tomorrow. As for now, that's all we got for you guys today. Giants lose 5-3 to the Milwaukee Brewers, slide back down to 500 as Bernie Brewer slides down that slide in center field as the Brewers go deep again, beating up on the Giants. Final score 5-3. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.